where
and then the environment was cleaned up.
The first time I was hearing about this stuff, it was totally new to me.
With social impact consulting.
Beloved Abimbola. She's been a really great host with the Lagos Food Bank Initiative. They're doing a program with lactating mothers and nutrition, making sure they have the right nutritional status so that they can feed their babies well and they can get nice and fat. So nice and plumpy. So, and that they are healthy because so she's showing us what they're doing, and so we're really excited about that. So we're going to shoot down here first, and then go upstairs. It's just behind the scenes footage. Yeah. So thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Or tell more people about this program so that they can continue to benefit from it. So tell us about yourself and how you heard about this program with the Lagos Food Bank Initiative. And there are some things he would say you may not say. There are some things you may say he may not say. So you get what I'm saying? So when we're doing cutaways, you might feature, he might feature. Yes, so that's what we're doing. So like a video podcast called the Development Sector Series, Devsectorseries, every Wednesday. And I'm actually going to invite us to be interviewed because it's like it's just highlighting what the development sector is doing. And I feel like there needs to be more, and there's not as much of that in terms of content. I mean, yes, we do have our documentaries that we post on YouTube, but I feel like it's for research purposes, like a postdoc student trying to research the impact of nutrition.
Yeah.
They search on YouTube and your stuff comes out, and then they watch it, and then they're able to write their paper or do their report. But in terms of making sure that we're able to effectively communicate this with people, I'm so passionate about this.
Because even before coming to work here, I never knew a food bank even existed in Nigeria. So I have like there's a postgraduate student.
Okay.
Hello everyone, how you doing today? Welcome to another awesome episode of the Development Sector Series, which is Dev Sector Series. That's a hashtag, Dev Sector Series. So those of you who are on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, make sure you follow the hashtag Dev Sector Series. Please like and share this broadcast so that you can get this to more people. Now, because I am interviewing a guest from USAID's scale, I will need to put in a link, for you to fill out an attendance sheet. So if you're able to fill it out, please just fill out the attendance sheet once you attend. And those of you that are in my studio, it's not the StreamYard link you need to link to. Go either on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube to watch this broadcast, because as I'm going through this broadcast, I will be kicking you out of my studio, okay? So the studio link is the StreamYard link. Where you need to watch it on is on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube. So I got a whole bunch of people here. I have Ayomide Ladipo, Abubakar Atiku, Matu Magaji, and some other people. So please leave my studio nicely. I'm asking nicely. And go to LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube. So those of you who are in my studio, go to LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube. Go to the links are there in the email that was sent to you by Dr. Okosun. So please make sure that you go in there, and click there to watch. And when you are watching, before you even watch, just fill out the form so that they can keep track of who attended this broadcast. So I think I'm gonna put the link over here for you guys to fill out. Just give me a moment so that you guys can fill out the form. And then this is just a one-off thing. It's not going to be something I'm going to be doing on the broadcast. But those of you who are there, you see that, you know, if you're on LinkedIn, you're on if you're on Facebook, you're on YouTube, fill out the link. Those of you who are in my studio, please leave the studio, go to Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube, okay? So that we can have a wonderful broadcast, okay? So I'm very, very excited about this. Make sure you like and share this broadcast so that we can get this to more people, okay? Also, let me know where you're watching from so that I can show you some love during or after the broadcast. Platforms like LinkedIn Live don't let you chat from the streaming platform. There are a lot of, the LinkedIn platform has quite a few limitations, but I'm just grateful that they allow us to go live. So that's some progress. The video that you just watched previous to my coming out is the behind the scenes footage of a documentary that we're putting together, Social Impact Consulting, Social Impact Media. It's Untold Impact is a documentary that highlights the critical role of civil society in national development and why the foundation of civil society is an open society and an open civic space. So I am going to be posting in the upcoming weeks behind the scenes production. So please, as you see those posts, please like and share. Your support means a lot to me. So currently we're on the editing mode and I'm just showing you what we have in store for you. So now to the current program. I'm very excited about this. Our current guest, we're going to be talking to Dr. Thankgod Okosun, who is a seasoned veteran in the organizational development space. I am so thrilled about this because, as you know, I'm passionate about the institutional strengthening of nonprofit organizations so that they can maximize social impact. So we're going to be talking more about building impact-driven institutions and strengthening nonprofits across Nigeria, across sub-Saharan Africa. So I am going to go over his video bio before we get started. Again, those of you in my studio, I am going to nicely continue to tell you to please go to LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. Make sure you fill out the form so that they can record your attendance. This is just kind of a one-off thing for us. So those of you in my studio, please go to LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube Live. The links were shared with you. Just make sure you click on that, and then we will be getting started. Okay. So again, I'm going to be sharing his video bio, and we are going to get started. Okay. So give me a moment. Thankgod Okosun is a development professional, fellow of the following groups: African Institute of Public Health Professionals, International Organizational Development Networks, and scholar of the Institute of Peace, Conflicts, and Development Studies. He is an organizational development advisor of the Strengthening Civil Advocacy for Local Engagement Scale project, implemented by Palladium and funded by USAID. The Palladium project aims to improve organizational capacity, managerial, financial, and institutional strengthening for sustainability for Nigerian CSOs. Over the past 16 years, Thankgod has focused exclusively on transforming the institutional strengthening and business development landscape across civil society organizations, business membership organizations, private sector, public enterprises, and entrepreneurial sectors in sub-Saharan Africa. Through his effort as an expert in organization reengineering, he has mentored and transformed over 120 organizations from nascent to a position to attract and manage large donor grants, with more than 1,500 CSOs benefiting from his coaching and mentorships. His previous footprints, including the team lead of USAID's Strengthening Advocacy for Civic Engagement, implemented by Chemonix, Country Director, Planned Parenthood Global, Project Director, USAID DAI Youth Powered Ecosystem for Adolescent Health, Regional Advisor, Organizational Development for Planned Parenthood Global, and Business Development Advisor for USAID Lopin 2 Project. Areas of specialties include strategic planning and development, project design proposal development, organizational diagnosis, system strengthening, strategic reengineering, strategic board development, resource mobilization, mentoring, coaching, research and documentation, team building, materials development, and project management and business development innovations. Thankgod has over 25 years of experience in the development space. Allow me to introduce to some and present to others Thankgod Okosun.
Thank you.
Hello. How you doing today?
I am good. Therefore, thank you so much for this platform. You are doing great in the Nigeria
Thank
civil
you so
space,
much.
and we are glad that you are having people like you in this space.
Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much.
much. Yeah.
Thank you so much. So please, before we get started, I just want to also indicate those of you coming into my studio, please go to LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube Live. The links are probably on the very email that was sent to you by Dr. Okosun. So please just go on either Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube. So those of you in my studio, please kindly leave, go to the links, YouTube, Facebook, or LinkedIn. Thank you so much for joining us, and I really appreciate it. So please just leave the studio and then go on those platforms. Thank you all so much for watching, okay? Thank you. So now we are going to get started. Dr. Okosun, I'm so excited to have you. Very excited. And also just the fact, just your extensive experience in organizational development is what I'm really curious that we continue to share. Before I get started, also, please, I have put a link on Facebook and YouTube on an attendance link, okay? So please go on the attendance, please go and take attendance for your joining us here. Again, that would be very much appreciated. This is for this particular episode. Again, thank you so much for watching. Those of you on my studio, please, pretty please, go to those 3 platforms, okay? Because I'm going to get tired of kicking you out of the studio, and then you will just join us and you'll be listening from the studio and you will just be hearing. You will not be able to really enjoy the breadth of the presentation by watching on the streaming platform. So again, please go on those platforms. I again thank you so much for your time. Your time means so much to me that you're watching this. All right, we are going to get started. All right, so Dr. Okosun, if you can just let us know, in your extensive experience, when did nonprofits transition into becoming institutions in Nigeria?
Again, thank you for this conversation and for this platform. Yeah, non-profits, a good word that is being used on the very sometimes loose language, sometimes serious. Non-profit in a very simple language is a kind of an organization that is non-governmental, that does not have government affiliation, that is legally registered, organized, and operated by collective public um, groups that believe they have a passion and they have a reason to drive some kind of an activity or a vision. And so for non-profit, it's simply that they are simply voluntary. It's a humanitarian venture, and they do not really do it for the purpose of gain or profits. And so they come together, and then by reason of that common vision or whatever, they craft a vision for themselves. They craft an area for themselves, and they begin to think along that line, and by reason of that, they are able to impact within the ecosystem, which we refer to as the beneficiaries. And so by reason of that, they are expected to officially register with the government, and that is what we call the Corporate Affairs Commission. And when they are now registered, they develop some kind of system and structures that will enable them to function along the program they believe that they want to run. They also have some kind of area where they agree on the kind of financial outlay they would do. And so those are what we call policies and procedures that are expected to guide them. Now, the non-profit, as it were, is not owned by anyone. Yes, there may be a person who decide, who have that vision or passion to aggregate persons together. But by the time it is registered, there are what we call the board of trustees, who are actually the one that are giving that kind of trust to own the vision. So that's what non-profit is, but it translates to an institution. Let me just define what an institution is. An institution is kind of an organized process that have an impact on 4 major domains: the family, religion, education, and government. And so when you
Please,
begin to have
can you say that again? Can you please
yeah,
say that again?
yeah. So an institution is an organized forum that does not have its profit intention, that have a direct impact on 4 major domains. And that is family, religion, education, and government. So when you have an NGO or a non-profit translating to meeting an impact within these 4 major domains we talk about, we begin to refer to them as an institution. For example, a school is when it becomes large enough, it's called an institution. Educational setup, churches, as it were, and even this philanthropic organization set up by governments for the purpose of meeting need without necessarily social interventions, as it were, are referred to as institutions. But it can only be institutions if the NGO is focused on their vision and mission. And it is owned by trustees, and beneficiaries are seeing the impact. But it can never get to that point if NGOs who are expected to drive that vision begin to move from one vision and mission to another. They do not have enabling plan, which we refer to as strategic plan. They do not have governance processes like the board of trustees that drive it. You have an individual thinking of getting funding, and so moving from one area of vision and eventually move from widows to election, from election to youth, and you do not have a direction. You can't get to the point of being called an institution. So the ultimate aim of an NGO is to translate to an institution that have a common vision that impacts on the beneficiary. Again, I want to repeat, NGOs are not owned by anyone. And so even if you are a funder, you cannot claim to own it as long as you have registered and it becomes a corporated trustees. Thank you.
That was just, that definition was just fantastic, sir. Because it's letting founders know, because NGOs go through the founder syndrome. Let them know, look, this does not belong to anybody. This belongs to society. So that is a very clear indication that, look, if you are going to be doing this, it needs to be a selfless act. If you're trying to do it for something else, then maybe find another business. So this is
exactly, absolutely,
phenomenal.
Yeah. And that brings me to this. Before you move on to that is why it is important to note that by the time you set up an NGO, now you have beneficiaries that are supposed to benefit from it. You must set yourself aside, set your own commitment aside, set your own selfish idea aside, allow that NGO to drive the vision in which it's supposed to do by setting up the enabling structures. Thank you.
Okay. So let me just go very quickly. Now, how has building an institution, and you've already answered that question, just in case you have anything else to add, but how has building an institution, if does it impact positively on their vision and mission, or does it dilute it?
Yeah, when you get to the point of building an institution, then you have deepened your vision and mission. You are beginning to make relevance. You begin to have what to call footprints in your society. The aim of NGO is to get to a point they become an institution that addresses youth needs, addresses issues around elections or issues around vulnerable groups in interventions. You will be known for a particular thing when you get to that point of an institution. For example, a secondary school is known for secondary school. A primary school is known for a primary school. A church is supposed to be known for things of the church. A mosque supposed to. Those are vision driven. So it can be diluted when we begin to move from one point to another. We do not have an enabling strategic plan. We don't allow our governance to function. And then you are driving yourself into any fund that is available. Then you can't translate it to an institution. You'll just be diluting your passion. Yeah.
Okay. So let me just there have been mixed reviews on institutional donors and their influence on non-profits, and we all watch the news and what happens. So how has the influence of institutional donors affected non-profits that have become institutions? How has that affected their work in communities?
Say it again.
How has the influence of institutional donors affected non-profits, the work of non-profits in communities?
Honestly, I will tell you that the greatest value we have had over time that sustained non-profits and that also sustain institutions is the engagement and deliberate involvement of donors. Governments do not fund non-profits, and even when they have theirs, it is not coming out clearly as to how they've been able to utilize that to reach a wider process. I can tell you, I was just checking some statistics this morning, and I found out that 35% of the impact to the vulnerable populations and also to area that had to do with direct impact to the society are attributable to civil society organizations, and they are donor driven. So donors, by reason of what they have done, have been able to stabilize that voice, that critical mass within the bedrock of the pyramid, to truly influence the work that happens within the communities. And so the margin of change that you find within the society is by reason of the donor deliberate interventions. And before we move out of that, let me quickly mention that for donors, there are four ways they try to come to societies. Number one is formal engagement with local entities. And so they directly look at how to strengthen those local entities and use them, particularly for government that may not be friendly to some policies. They use that system to build that structure. Number two is they find a way within the government's strategic plan, align with their goals, align with their missions. But that is a government that is focused. But if government do not have a strategic plan that drive their change, they are not able to really align with them. And so the third way is when they form bilateral or multilateral relationship with governments. But unfortunately, those counterparts kind of have not truly driven the change that they want. And the last one is around offering grants and aids that to particular sector or agencies. But in all of these four FY, the greatest one that had been used over time is working with the local entities, strengthening these local organizations, because that will be independent of government and they will be able to drive the kind of change that will benefit the vulnerable population.
Thank you so much. And that just kind of drives me now into our next question about the scale project. Why don't you just give us some insight more about the project and maybe the role of organizational development in its outcomes?
Yes, the scale project is a 5 years project, and the 5 years project began 2020 October precisely, and deliberately it was meant to strengthen financial, management, and advocacy capacity of local civil society organizations. So, scale simply is strengthening civic advocacy and local engagement. And the idea behind scale is to find a way to transform the local organizations, civil society, and business membership organizations to be strong enough, sufficient enough, capable of managing large grants, and be able to develop high level resilience so that they can do the work that they are intended to do. And this is the greatest, for me, um, opportunity that exists for the civil society organization. And so for the scale project, it is hinged on what we refer to as either component or pillars, for whatever you can call it. We have component one that speaks on improved organizational um, capacity development, which of course I lead as an advisor, and that component is actually looking at the foundation of what we're talking about, in terms of strengthening and building institutions and resilience, for these our organizations. And number two, component two is looking at enhanced capacity for CSOs, advocacy, as well as collaborations. And of course, we have an advisor that anchor that. And we believe that when you build institutions, and then you are able to aggregate the collective strength of the CSOs, you can truly advocate and make change that you want to have. And component three is about improving the policy and regulatory environment for CSOs, which of course we know the importance of that because of the high level of threats and the shrinking level of the civic space. And the component four is looking at countering trafficking in person. And of course, that's again handled by another advisor. And then component five is narrow it down to vulnerabilities, vulnerable populations, like the sexual and gender-based violence, like issues that have to do with child and early forced marriage. But in all of these, we have a theory of change that say if we can strengthen that institutional process, civil society can come strengthen their managerial, financial, and advocacy capacity, and then we can collaborate effectively as a nation, as society, then strengthen the enabling environment, open up the space for discourse. We believe that there will be an effective change, not just that, there will effectively engage citizens in this country for a change in this country. That is what scale is about. And over the period, we have tried to utilize this theory of change by reason of co-creating with stakeholders. We reach out to all the stakeholders, even at the point of inception of developing our plans and what we will do in terms of advocacy. And that has moved on. I will tell you for free that these K projects have been able to aggregate a lot of stakeholders who also, when we do what we call the pause and reflect, they've been able to also be part of our discourse, including an advisory council that we have set up for scale that advise the senior management as to directions. And so that is K project for you.
Okay. Thank you so much for that insight, talking about the pillars of the project, its theory of change, and kind of where organizational development comes in. So we want to now talk more about the organizational development aspect of the project. So how will the organizational development aspect of this project further enhance the impact of CSOs?
Yes, and you see, the organizational development is like a foundation of a building, which of course we spoke to. I want to also tell you why this organizational development is very, very important is that donors are, for lack of a better language, they are in a haste to hand over large funding to local entities. They want the local entity to drive the funding process, manage the fund, drive the change, rather than getting the aspect of the storage of the large fund on international organizations. And so for the donors, they carved out this project to be able to do that. And the organizational development component is huge on this. What are we doing? We are going beyond the aspect of, we have seen that there are several projects that have done that, pockets of trainings, going from one hotel to another to train people and get them one thing and then record their attendance. We've gone beyond that. We believe that there are several strategies that we use. The first thing we have done is to co-create what we call a harmonized tool that is being used for the purpose of assessment, either at the point of organizational performance or at the point of organizational sustainability. We created it with experts in the house, and that tool is now being used not just by Scale alone, but by many large organizations who have also attested to the use. I have personally have to train some other organizations in that use, which shows acceptability and user friendliness. And then beyond that, we have also done a lot of beyond capacity training. We have also have to work with the USAID IPs to work with their partners and build their capacities across board on organizational strengthening, on student strengthening. And that has also generated a lot of aspects, either in relation to finance or procurement or resource mobilization or strategic result-based management or leadership. We've done a lot on that, but we are going beyond just those kind of outputs or outcome level to build what we call legacies. For example, we have what we call the organizational development marketplace. Organizational development marketplace. That marketplace is is a 6 month course with a crafted and designed curriculum, and the curriculum was reviewed by academia, by CSOs, and people that were experts on it. And then those are now it's now being used now to train specialists in organizational development. And because we have a default in terms of pool of providers of organizational development, as I speak with you, they are going through a 6 month course, and that 6 month course will generate experts, young, upgrowing, and of course experienced persons that will begin to continually work with, so that we do not think about this capacity building as trainings, as it were. And another one we have moved on to, and I'm sure you're excited about that, is one of what I would call an inaugural organizational development summit. The summit is an innovation to have a long-term drive to aggregate. I know you will ask me a question on that, so I will hold on that. I will talk about that at a point. So that is what we are, and then we are also doing and the findings that are coming out is showing that we are making impact, and we want to really truly say that Scale has become one large organization that is being truly filling the gap of capacity development in terms of organizational strengthening. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Again, those of you who are in my studio, can you please, if you look at the private chat, you will see all the links that you can go on: LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube Live. Reason why I'm telling you this is because I'm going to have questions for the audience, and I can't show your questions on the screen if you are in the studio. So if you can just please go over, look at the private chat and see the links, and just move from the studio into YouTube, LinkedIn, or Facebook. Thank you so much. So now I'm going to be going to the next question. So if you can just provide more information about the Organizational Development Summit.
Yeah. Incidentally, you are an organizational development expert, and I know that very well for free. And when I was aggregating this idea about Regional Development Summit, it was basically meant for three major reasons. Number one is to find a platform to deepen stakeholders' perspective on organizational strengthening, and then have some kind of innovation, creativity, new thinking that will drive the change that Scale is looking for in terms of managerial, financial, and organizational performance. That's number one. Number two, the summit was to also help us, to promote organizational engagement, collaboration, networking, exchange learning, new ideas, and then galvanizing that to be able to use it as a store of legacy post summits for others, to be able to see. And then number three is to engage the the society, whether you are donor, whether you are a CSO, to know that a lot of things have happened in Nigeria. So many organizations have already moved from the point of being nascent to a point of performance and resilience. And so we want to share best practices, model of learnings, as it were, and then looking at those areas for improved sustainability. Those are the three major focus for this summit. But beyond that, now it has gone beyond that, FY, because it is now a forum for gathering multi-donor to a room to think of post-summit, agenda and approach, collective approach. Many funders are interested. As a matter of fact, some people are coming from outside this country to attend this summit, and they are donors. They are donors. They are coming, and they have gotten their visa ready, and they are coming. So USAID is making a lot of impact, and we are seeing this as a measure of reaching out. So the summit has several wonderful programs. We are actually looking at two major areas. One area is on sustainability of organization, and the second one is on improved performance. It's not just enough to be sustainable, but you must get to a point of performance where donors are not your issue anymore. You drive the projects, and then people see you as having an institution, that is relevant. So we have the one and the two, and it's coming up on June 8 and 9. The one will be focusing on operational sustainability. I just got the news that some of the government agencies that will be opening the ceremonies already have indicated interest to come, and those are big ones. I will leave that to the surprise for those that will be in that. There will be a lot of abstract. We have sent abstract, and people have sent in abstract. They are going to be discussing on those abstracts, and we have some other area on private sector topics. Some other one that have to do with experiences from NGOs, donors, and then at the end we will develop a document, and that document will be looking at post summit. So what? How will donor aggregate themselves now to move on? And many donors have also said, because Scale have started this year, they will support and continue with this innovation in terms of making this agenda of sustainability successful.
Thank you
Thank you.
so much. Thank you. I'm very excited about this summit. Like you said, it's the first of its kind, and we have so many people coming, and the fact that it just shows the goodwill of donors and just the development community sector in Nigeria as a whole, wanting to make sure that more institutions are built so that there's a sustainable development in Nigeria, which helps our democracy. So it's really, that's why I was so thrilled to have you here, Dr. Okosun, because I feel like this is really a laudable feat, and I'm very excited to be a part of it. So I wanted to just see if you can just tell folks on the audience, before you answer the question in terms of registration, if you have any questions for Dr. Okosun, please put it in the comment section. Those of you who are in my studio, please migrate to either LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube. Dr. TVA moved to YouTube. Okay, so please, the rest of you, kindly go on either LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube. That would be most appreciated. You know why? Because if you have questions for him, it will go on the comment section. I can click on it and it just shows on the screen, and then your question can be answered, and then we can move forward. Again, thank you so much for being here. Your time means so much to us here at the Development Sector Series. So, Dr. Okosun, back to you. How can people register?
How can people register? We have sent out a save the date. Look out for a promo on our speakers, on dignitaries on the topics. It will come out next week. We will share it with the same platform we are. We will also send it to FY. FY, you help us to send it on the LinkedIn's and the Facebooks and all your
Yeah.
platform. Once you are registered, there are two ways to participate. It's a hybrid. First of its kind, taking place in Sheraton Hotel, June 8th and 9th. But if you are registered, you will indicate whether you want to attend in person or you want to attend virtually. For those that will be attending virtually, we'll send you a link and you'll be able to participate either in the parallel sections or plenary sections. And that will, but we will send that link. We have already sent, but we will do more in that kind of publicity as we move on. And for others that will want to participate in person, is in Sheraton. If you want us to help you, in terms of accommodation at your expense, then please, we will be glad to link you up to anyone within Abuja hotels. But also let me also emphasize here that this conference, you are not paying to come in. You're not paying because it is a USAID project, and we hope you will take advantage. But you must register. You cannot jump into the conference. Until you register, you will be given a name tag. You will officially enter and be registered. But until you are registered, and the second way to enter is to send an abstract. Abstract have closed, unfortunately, and so many people that have registered on that, we are expecting their full abstracts for that. So that is the way to register. It's a hybrid, and anywhere you are in the world. As a matter of fact, there are a lot of global people that will be attending. Because so many people are coming, donors are coming, we're already having registration outside the country. But whoever wants to register, I know it's in Abuja, and you are welcome. Once you register, you will be able to attend either in person or virtually. Just indicates the kind of the symbol to be go out. Over to you, FY.
This is really exciting. So please, those of you who are watching this are interested in attending, I just sent a link to register for you to acknowledge your attendance here. That way, the scale team is able to follow up with you and give you more information about the summit. This is for free. Most of us that provide services in terms of institutional, organizational development, technical support, we charge exorbitant fees for such. My coaching session is about 60,000 naira per session. If you want to do a seminar, I'm going between 60 and 100,000, and this is worth hundreds of thousands of naira, honestly, because of the quality of guests, the quality of abstracts that will be discussed. I mean, this is second to none. The only thing I can compare this to in terms of the development sector that I have attended in Nigeria is the Nigerian Economic Summit, and that is over 150,000 naira. So this is a laudable event. So please make sure I sent a link on Facebook and YouTube. Click on it. On LinkedIn, once this session is over, I will share the link, because I can't share it on the stream to LinkedIn right away. So I have to do that afterwards. Please make sure you click on the link, register that you have attended this live streaming. This live streaming will now they will now get that information and be able to share more information to you about the summit, more details. Then you will be able to attend. So I'm very excited about this. Again, thank you for providing more details about that. Now, for those of you in the audience on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube, please, if you have any questions for Dr. Okosun as he shares his final thoughts, let us know. And then if he has like a minute or two to answer them. So put your questions quickly, because he can only answer one because he has to go. So I will just have you, Dr. Okosun, if you can just let us know your final thoughts.
Final thought is that I'm excited I'm part of this change. For me, civil society formed the fourth largest, voices in the world. Apart from the critical mass of the voices, they are the ultimates in terms of moving the voice of the people forward. And so for me to be part of those that change, to do the change in terms of institutional strengthening, I'm glad, and I want to tell the civil society organization, take advantage of this process. Continue to ensure that you do the right thing. stabilize your system. Don't do cut short. Don't do what we call shortcuts. Shortcuts, most time you think it is a good one. Unfortunately, it doesn't make you to get to your heights. Again, I welcome everyone to the summit. It's a long-term dream, and I think it will be part of the history for us to say we were part of it. I look forward to seeing you there. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your for this excellent just description in general about organizational development, organizations becoming institutions, the scale project, and the summit. I'm very excited about this. I think, Dr. Okosun, I think most of us organizational development professionals, when we're dreaming of like a long-term impact kind of work, we're thinking a summit, a conference that has a large amount of lots of NGOs providing resources and all that. And then for you to even have that opportunity to now do this, I feel like this is a laudable feat. Again, thank you so much for your hard work. I know there are a couple of members of the committee that are here. I know I see Dr. Otivie.
Otivie is there. Yeah.
Yes, he is.
We have
he actually he was in the studio.
Yeah.
He was in the studio. Then he moved to YouTube. I've not seen if Mr. Aripo is here. He has not because some people are probably here but have not put anything in the comments. Yeah. Please
Francis,
acknowledge yourselves
Timmy.
if you are a member of the committee so that I can give you a shout out. So again, thank you so much for being here and supporting us that are committee members. So thank you so much. Again, Dr. Okosun, you have provided a lot of insight here. We will continue to push so that we get more nonprofits and civil society organizations to be a part of it so that they can grow to become institutions of impact, especially since donors cannot wait to be able to provide funding directly to local nonprofits. Again, thank you so much for being here. Again, this is not going to be our last conversation, and then we'll continue to have the conversation until the event. So, all right, talk to you soon, sir. I know you're running into another meeting, so thanks so much. All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Again, thank you all so much for watching the Development Sector Series, which is Dev Sector Series. For those of you who are still on here, click on the link and notify that you were here, okay? So that the Scale team can send you more information about the summit. They've already put out a save the date. We're already getting our speakers together. We're already, selecting the abstracts that we're going to be using. So this is coming on really well, and and quite a few donors are going to be here. So if you want to even network with donors directly as a young nonprofit, this is even a great opportunity for you to be here. So June 8th and 9th, make sure you click on that link just to let them know that you were here so that they can, and it's free. FREE. There's no sound that sounds better to Nigerians and us Africans than free. So please make sure you click on the link just to attend. For those of you who are still in my studio, I still love you. Those of you still on my studio, it's on the private chat. Just click on the link. It's on the link further up. Just to acknowledge that you attended, okay? So please do that so that you are able to attend. Again, one more thing. I'm going into the documentary that I am producing, which is Untold Impact, the role of civil society in national development. It's a 4-part documentary. We're going to be talking about the role of civil society in health, education, nutrition, marginalized groups, which is youth, women, and persons with disabilities. It is a proactive move for us to be able to educate the entire public about the critical role of of NGOs that are institutions, of structured nonprofits, and other civil society organizations around the country that are supporting government, supporting private sector in making sure that we have a sustainable nation, because there are other countries that have fallen apart. It's civil society organizations that are keeping things afloat. So I am communicating that. I am going to be sharing behind the scenes footage in terms of the work that we've been doing. If you see it, please like and share, because we are in a movement to make sure that people understand the messaging of the role of civil society organizations. I am very excited about it. Please make sure you share it and like and share so that there's more engagement. It helps the algorithm to make sure it moves forward. One more thing, make sure you click on the link, Facebook, YouTube. If you're on LinkedIn, I will put the link right after this episode so that you can click, notify that you were here, so that you can be a part of the Organizational Development Summit, the first of its kind in the entire country. This is a dream of any organizational development professional, to be able to share the gems of building institutions of impact. Again, thank you all so much for watching, and let us change the world together. Take care, everyone.